Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I'm here as always with the one and only Mr. Emils.
Yeah, what's up, man? And I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Costin.
True. All right.
Yeah,
And today's episode will be an exclusive one because we will talk about an exclusive brand that is
which
Rolex.
is Rolex, man, crazy. Really excited about this one. And
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about the history of Rolex and a lot of other stuff relating to Rolex. Also, the man who founded Rolex, and yeah. Let's get into it. So, Rolex.
Exactly. Rolex or Hans Wilsdorf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will be a sort of mix between them two.
Yeah,
This can
but I think we should mention also who was it? Like,
Davis.
Alfred Davis, right?
Yes. Alfred James Davis.
That's
The
even
new
more
only.
right. That's even more right.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
So
yeah,
I guess we should start with the standard question. Why do you think, or why did we choose to discuss about Rolex or Hans Wilsdorf, or actually Rolex?
actually Rolex, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got a pretty simple answer to that actually. It's Rolex.
Yeah.
Do I need to say more?
I don't think so, actually, no.
So yeah, so I think it's gonna be an interesting discussion because we have now learned some basics about the company that we could find, right? Since
Yeah.
information is so secretive, where the whole business is. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. So maybe we can start off with history, right?
Yeah,
How
I
it
think we'll
was.
just start off with history, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because that's all we could sort of find. Um, so yeah, go ahead and start.
Me?
Yeah, or I can start. Doesn't matter.
Right. Well, I don't know. Well, let's go. We can do it together and
Yeah,
just figure things out. So it was founded by Hans Wilsdorf, right?
exactly. Who was born 1881 in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. And from a very young age, he became an orphan because his mom and dad died, or he like became an orphan when he was 12,
Yeah,
right? So it was pretty early on, and then he was put in a good school by his
uncles.
uncles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because his parents had actually a family business and they
yeah,
produced like iron goods, right? And
yeah,
so after their death, I think their or like his like Wilsdorf's uncle sold their business and put them in a very good school.
yeah. Bro, fuck off. Exactly. Yeah, which was kind of the foundation for his success later on, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he was good at math and like it was math and languages. He was good at languages and math, right?
Yeah,
And, so he learned English, French, and German, right? Those were the three languages he spoke, I think.
yeah.
Which later on gave him the opportunity to work. I don't know what the job title is, but he was working for a watch company. There wasn't like the traditional watch companies, was like these carry-on watches, which had a chain on. These old types that you could hold in your hand if they weren't on the wrist. So he worked for a watch company, that sort of watch company back, yeah, as some sort of communication something.
Yeah, exactly. I just got it that like at 19 years old he was tired of school and everything.
Yeah,
And then he moved to Geneva because I think he also met like while being in school he met like or like one of his friends was from Switzerland and he talked about Switzerland and blah 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 and all the opportunities and so on. And so at 19 years old he got tired of school and he moved to Geneva and he started working for a like at first he started working for a pearl company. They were selling pearls basically.
okay,
Yeah. And then after that, like after 2 years, he started working for the company you mentioned. It was called Kuno Corton, and they
right.
produced and sold watches.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
So that yeah,
exactly.
and he worked there for a few years, and then he had to get back to Germany because he had to do his art. Like I think there was a conflict. It wasn't World War I, but he
I
had to.
think it was just military service, right?
Yeah, or that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I yeah,
he had to get back in Germany and do military service, and then after that, he moved to London
to London, yeah.
to work for another watch company. Uh, and his main job, or like, yeah, was to just increase their sales, which he also managed to do. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it was actually in London where Rolex was founded, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, with his wait, Alfred Davis. It was his
Brother-in-law, because I think he was in London where he met his wife.
wife as well, yeah.
Yes. And
Right.
that's where, yeah, he later met James Davis. Uh, and yeah, I think James Davis noticed that Hans Wilsdorf was so like into watches and was really passionate about it. So he needed some capital to start off his business with,
Yeah.
and so that's how the entire deal uh, was
Yeah. Was
was.
done.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah. And I think yeah, things went good for them, right? Since
Yeah,
they really focused on quality and stuff. Was it around this time? Uh, the Oyster, right? Which is the first Rolex watch, or the first? Was it their first watch?
yeah, but that's like I've written so many points here. That's like in 1926. So there's still World War
All right.
going on.
Yeah. Sorry, the door was open. Uh, wait. So
Oh,
what did you say?
no, that's in 1926.
Okay.
So they basically like the deal was done in 1905 when they shook their hands, right? And
Right.
then they founded Winsdorf and Davids Limited,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And back then, pocket watches used to be very popular and they were very much used by men,
They
while
were manly. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
while wristwatches were only used by women, and
Yeah.
they weren't so accurate.
Nope.
So yeah, I think in one of the videos we watched for this podcast, they mentioned, or like it was sort of quoted by him that he predicted that the wristwatches that the pocket watches would disappear and that the wristwatches would be the future.
Yeah.
So while in the beginning of his startup, like yeah, while in the beginning of the process of starting up his company, he traveled to talk to other watchmakers, right? And start also to produce different watches. And so Rolex became a trademark for Wilsdorf and Davids Limited in 1908.
Yep, yep,
Basically,
yep,
am I
yep.
getting more? Am I getting too like? Am I diving
No, you're
uh,
good. You're good.
too much into details?
Go
Yeah, just
ahead. Go ahead. And I think it's
uh,
interesting also how they came up with the name. Rolex.
yeah,
Uh, Hans was basically he wanted to come up with a name that sounded good in every language, that was like easy to pronounce in every language, and a name that wasn't too long either, so it could fit on the face of the watch, or like yeah, be included in the little watch. So yeah, it was 5 letters, right?
exactly.
And
Yeah,
he basically just tried to uh, put random letters together from the alphabet. And one day a bus, a genie whispered the name Rolex in his ear. And yeah, that is how some say the name came to be. So I don't know how legit it is, but it's yeah, sounds fun, sounds nice. So yeah, that is one version of how the Rolex name was um, founded or discovered,
yeah.
or yeah, created.
And then I would say that well, after the trademark was registered and so on, like
Yeah,
some years passed, and First World War started, right?
yeah,
And I
exactly.
think that's when his business started booming. Um,
Um, yeah, but I think we should also mention like this little obstacle, because they were still based in England, right?
yeah,
And then when the First World War started, the Englishmen started to kind of despise the Germans, and so yeah, Hans Wilsdorf. It's a pretty noticeable, or it's really not noticeable that it is a German last name, and
yeah,
so that was a little obstacle maybe, or like made things harder in England for sure, I think. And but I think the real thing that made them move from England was these export taxes, right?
yeah,
Which were increased to like 33%.
exactly.
And that is when he moved to a city. It wasn't Geneva in Switzerland. It was to another city. But yeah, he moved to Switzerland at least from there on to escape the taxes, basically. So
Exactly.
yeah, interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I think his popularity increased during the World War as they used his watches or like the Rolex watches, uh,
exactly.
as they were pretty accurate.
And
Um,
also more functional, right, to use on the
hmm,
missions.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then in 1915, they changed the name. I mean, after the World War. No, I'm joking. In 1915, yeah, they made they so Rolex was basically a trademark used by Wolf's by Hans and Davis, right?
yeah,
By their company, and so they changed their name from from Winstorp and Davids Limited to Rolex Watch Corporations Limited.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
was it because of this hatred towards Germans? Was that the reason? So that
yeah,
it wouldn't impact their sales or their business?
yeah, I think that also had an impact on it, or like that was certainly one of the reasons I would say.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oof, that's
so,
cool. That's cool. All right. Yeah. It's interesting. Really, yeah, love. I love that we have learned this stuff this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was it was in Switzerland where the oyster watch was made, right? At the or are we
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in the right order, like according to your points?
Yeah. 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 My next point is in 1926, the Rolex Oyster was sort of made.
Was
Uh,
born.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I
Which
think, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I think you have some good points there.
Well, it was the first waterproof watch ever made, right?
Yeah.
Which made a lot of a lot of buzz in the watch industry for sure. And then besides Hans being, this smart guy who knew everything about watches and stuff, he was also actually a pretty smart, like the marketing guy as well, because he marketed the watch. Buy. Basically, shit. Nah, man, I lost the name.
Mercedes.
Yeah, Gleitze.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who was this swimmer who had swam over the what you call it? Is it the English Canal? Is that was
Yeah.
the
The English Channel. Yeah.
uh which is basically from France to England, right? Crazy. And she had done that once, and I think people didn't believe that she did it, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So she was gonna do it again, but this time the water was much colder than when she did it the first time. And now the second time she was gonna do it, uh, Rolex, or I think Hans, made it happen that she wore the oyster watch on her neck while she was swimming in the water for like, I think she swam for like 10 hours, right? And then she didn't make it because the water was too cold, and she like barely almost froze to death. Then so yeah, it's cool because I think that's kind of the beginning of how, or it was really the start of what people the Rolex was sponsoring, right? Because they are like they sponsored like these extreme athletes, these divers. Now we have, of course, the tennis players, the golf players, and then also want to. Now I'm jumping ahead actually, but yeah, it kind of goes together. Also, the man who set the world record back then, that was like the. Sorry, my dog is. I hope you can't hear it, but then she wants in the room. But yeah, what I'm saying. So there was this man who set the world record for like fastest driving on land, which was like 300 kilometers per hour, and also he wore the some sort of Rolex watch. I don't know. I don't think it was the Oyster, but I'm not sure. But yeah, they sponsor like kind of these really accomplished people or that are doing great things. So it's cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, he used I don't know, but I think they call it the fishbowl marketing strategy, sort of. Uh, you know, I think that was genius as well.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Right. So also, yeah, while having the oyster watch on the neck of Mercedes Gleitze, who was swimming across the English Canal. The next step was the marketing, or the next marketing strategy was to kind of advertise the oyster watch in a fishbowl, right? So he had like also set up like these fish bowls in some stores where the watch was placed. Ah, damn. I love that stuff.
And then I also think he used a model, like he had a model to pose with her hand
In the fishbowl,
in a
right?
fishbowl while wearing a Rolex, obviously. And then I think there was also some Mount Everest. I think the first person to fly over Mount Everest or something like that also were Rolex, and that obviously increased his credibility and the perceived quality and so on.
Yeah.
So all of these sort of marketing campaigns and yeah, and the feedback from different athletes and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so damn, so interesting because like that was the when we damn cheetah. Damn, my dog's crazy. But what was I gonna say?
We can't
Uh,
hear it anyway.
oh, you can't.
No, we don't hear her.
Oh, that's
It's fine.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. Damn, she's crazy. But okay. Yeah, it was like the perfect time, the perfect time where I think a lot of things were, discovered or done for the first time. I think like
Yeah.
during the 1900s. Is that the right
Yeah.
way to say it? I don't know, but yeah, it's crazy because a lot of companies that are really big nowadays really had their boom during like kind of this time, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so
Well, he had a really good timing, and I think he also said it like because the Rolex Oyster was basically made in 1926, and that sort of first marketing campaign or the whole thing started in 1927. You know,
right.
so he waited like 1 year just to find the perfect timing to start advertising it. So I think that was genius. That was a genius move.
For sure, yeah.
And it was good timing overall, I think. As you said, in the 1920s or after the First World War, that's when they started to like break record after record in all kind of sports, um, and all kind of activities, in science and so on.
Yeah, I think actually the world wars are really good like point in time to mention because
Yeah. Yeah.
after the wars we have developed so much as a yeah as a society. I don't want to say that we have developed in every kind of way, but yeah, at least technology wise,
Yeah.
we have developed majorly, really, yeah, really much, a lot.
Yeah. And talking about the World War, we have a good point when World War II started, or like, yeah, in that time frame.
Hmm.
Uh, and it became very difficult for him or like for Rolex to export their watches from Switzerland, right? And his wife died in 1944.
Yeah.
And in order to honor her, he founded the Wilsdorf Foundation.
Yep.
And yeah,
No. What? What happened? Can you hear me?
I don't know. Yes, yes.
It just froze. Damn.
No, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, damn. But yeah, like you said, the Wilsdorf Foundation, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it was around this time when he also kind of moved all of the Rolex business like equity to
Yeah.
the foundation. You can maybe express it more correctly, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of. I mean, yeah, he sold 100% to his foundation. He basically sold it to himself ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't want to say sold. 'Cause
Yeah.
Uh,
Like he actually donated it, right?
donate. I think that's the perfect word, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And so, yeah, and that is also, I think that's a really important decision, and just point overall when we are now talking about Rolex, since it's kind of it was the move that made Rolex as secretive as it is today, right? Put everything behind the curtains, so to say, which is one of the major reasons why we don't know a lot about the company.
yeah.
And so, yeah, before this podcast, we listened to another podcast from a podcast named Business Breakdowns, and they have an episode on Rolex where they discuss about the company and also a lot about the products. And yeah, the guy that they are interviewing, even though he is really like he knows a lot about the watch industry, right? And he's
Yeah.
kind of close with Rolex as well. He didn't know things he was saying like for sure. He was kind of, they were speculating a lot, and which is, yeah, it's another interesting insight
Yeah, absolutely.
about Rolex.
And I think that's one of the, premium product. Like if you're a company that is producing premium products or like very exclusive products, I think you also want to keep it sort of secret. Uh, Even though it is a foundation or whatever it is, um, you know, I think you will still want to just keep it safe somewhere. And you can see that with McDonald's.
Yeah, yeah,
No, McDonald's, Coca-Cola.
yeah.
Coca-Cola, sorry. Coca-Cola. I don't think so. I've heard that the receipt is like held in a vault somewhere.
The recipe, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Recipe, sorry.
Uh-huh.
And there are just two people in the world that knows it or something like that. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Not that Coca-Cola would be like something very, very exclusive, but it's something, very popular and famous and
Yes, for the everyday man.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, interesting. We should do some more digging about Coca-Cola as well,
Yeah.
because this is actually the first time when I have actually heard about a company being kind of secretive. Yeah, since I'm not like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know that much about business in general, so it's yeah, a lot of stuff is new. So this was an interesting yeah, it was interesting to read about it and listen about it for sure. And then also like some interesting information which was said in the podcast, the Business Breakdown podcast. It's like how they really focus on excellence, right? They
Mm.
aren't really they aren't it's interesting. It's like also the same thing about the Hermes luxury brand, right? Which sells like I think they sell, I think they're the highest premium product is their bags, right?
Yeah. Probably.
But then they sell clothes and I think a lot of other stuff as well. But the
Perfumes.
thing is that is, yeah, but the thing is that is really interesting is how I think a lot of these, or at least a few, which I've heard, luxury companies aren't like too profit focused. They really focus on keeping the product premium or like really
Mm.
exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to get, and that's all kind of attributes to their strong brand and the scarcity of the products, which drives up the prices and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I guess that if you want to identify as an exclusive brand, you would make sure some in some way that not everyone has access to your products.
No, for sure. It
Like
it, it,
service.
it makes perfect sense. It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
So yeah.
It's just fun to kind of to analyze it a
Mm,
little because I don't think people really think about that much, like about
yeah.
the fact that they truly that this exclusivity is one of their like really strong focus points, right? As a brand.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's just yeah, fun to know about it. And yeah, and also more interesting stuff is like how they have like these apparently from the business breakdown podcast again. They have like these special made machines which test the Rolex watches, right? Which like
Yeah.
they have like apparently one machine that opens and closes the watch like 1,000 times per minute, and then also it was like another machine which I don't recall at the moment, but yeah, it's crazy. And also they they have like hired like 2 or 3 Nobel Prize winning scientists, right, to work on their what was it, like the material of whatever.
Yeah,
To
like the
like
metal they use.
to yeah, the metal and the damn, they really focus on quality and their exclusivity, right? It's like
Yeah.
those are, at least in my head, the yeah, the primary words which I would use to describe the company, right? And
Yeah.
their quality and the exclusivity.
Yeah.
That is how you say it.
Yeah. Quality, definitely.
Yeah.
And exclusive, yeah, of course. Um, and I don't know, from like previous, like we have discussed about this topic previously, and we came to the conclusion that it's kind of, or it's not kind of difficult, but it could be difficult to get a Rolex, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because they are looking at your history, like purchase history of watches, or was it something like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I think that's currently, right. I
Yeah.
think again, this is from the business breakdown podcast.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
that is kind of what they were saying, that nowadays it's hard. It has always been hard to get a Rolex, like
Mm,
especially from the places or like the stores that can sell the Rolex watches, like firsthand.
yeah.
Uh, but it's really, yeah, the process is really time consuming because
Yeah.
a lot of times I think this is also by design. They make you wait like for 6 months or like even multiple years at times to get like this first hand made watch from Rolex, which is why the I don't know if I don't know if retail is the right word. I'm not sure, but secondhand at least. Like that is why the secondhand market, if that is how you call it, is so big, and that is also why a lot of watches are sold much more expensive, or like at a much higher price than they would have been sold firsthand, actually,
Yeah.
since it's so hard to get them firsthand.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And also I think another thing worth mentioning is that they don't focus on selling or like to have their own stores. I think it's more accurately put, right?
Yeah, I think they are collaborating with other stores, maybe like through some kind of licensing or something. Uh,
Yeah,
so yeah, I don't think there are so many actual Rolex stores. Uh,
exactly.
so yeah.
And I think they actually mentioned like their primary company, which they were licensing or like giving the permission to sell their watches. But I don't remember the name of the company. But yeah, it's interesting. I think they only have like one or two actual stores, right? I think one is located in Geneva, Switzerland, I think, which is where they're what was the word? The headquarters, yeah, is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Nothing more to add from my part.
Yeah, I don't have much either.
Yeah.
I don't have much either. I wish I had though, but
Yeah. But
yeah.
maybe just to end the whole thing. Yeah. So just to conclude it, if someone asks why Rolex can't be sold, that's because Hans Wilsdorf donated it to the foundation, and hence it cannot be sold or made public, right?
Well, yeah.
That's
If we go back to it, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
You can't buy any stocks
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
company, yeah.
And yeah.
So yeah, but also no, I'm gonna jump back again.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna jump back again, but I think it's actually important to mention that Hans Wilsdorf, like his intent wasn't to make or it wasn't his primary focus, at least what I understood. You can give me your 2 cents later, but it wasn't his intent to make this company a luxury company, right? Because he was just focused on quality watches, because the luxury part kind of came later on, like yeah, when the Rolex name was really established in the world and in the watch industry. Because yeah, also because of his genius marketing strategies to sponsor like these people who accomplished amazing things. Kind of the same thing with Lamborghini and Ferrari and like all these car brands, which took part in racing the Le Mans to win the race, because that was the best way to market the car brand, because people to again create this product that would be associated with the winning, right? And the same thing with Rolex, why they were sponsoring all these amazing people who did amazing things. So yeah, it's funny how you can it's awesome how you can connect the dots, like also in between the marketing strategies.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but I got the same feeling. I got the same feeling, to be honest. Like I feel that his main focus until he died in 1960 was just to revolutionize the entire watch industry, and just to get the best results he could possibly get.
Yeah,
So yeah, and I think he managed to do that.
yeah,
And
exactly.
they're still on a very high level. So
Oh, it's
I think
awesome.
there will always be. It feels like Rolex is a sort of brand that you could, or it also depends on their future reputation, right? Depending on what they will sponsor and what will come in between, so to say. But yeah, it feels
Yeah,
like they have always been sort of a stable company.
yeah, and I think also like I think it's also because they are really traditional in a sense of who they sponsor, right?
Yeah.
Because again, in the podcast, I'm not gonna mention the podcast again. I've done it a lot of times now. But he was saying that they were really, they only wanted to work with the best, right?
Yeah.
And also, since the business is so secretive, I don't know. To me, it feels like there's nothing that can come in between their stability if only they keep a good balance between the what you call it, bro? These two words, supply and demand. There we go.
Yeah.
As long as they keep somewhat of a balance in that area, that their brand doesn't, that the scarcity of the product doesn't turn into like too much dislike, that they start to dislike the brand.
Yeah.
And also, I think that I was thinking the whole week about Rolex is that do you remember? I think David Senra has said it in a lot of his podcasts, like this one idea that once you find something that works, like creating revenue and like money wise, you stay silent about it, right?
Yeah.
And I think to me it feels like Rolex is doing this. I don't. It's actually, now when I think about it, I don't know if that is the case, but it feels like is the case because they have had so much time under this foundation. I don't know what you call it. This non-profit foundation.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the right word. Not business model, but like the structure. I don't know what you can call it. Like, do you get what I'm saying? What I'm trying to, what I try to say?
I'm not sure about it, but are you just talking about the foundation and how it is like functioning?
No. How it's functioning ish. What I meant is like now when they are under this foundation name, right, or this
owned
entity,
by the foundation
entity. I don't know what the right word is. They have had so much time with this entity, this foundation, right? I think they have also like the principle that you hold quiet when you find something that works. They have really also followed that principle, since they are so secretive, right? They don't even have to reveal the most basic things that other companies have to, which have shareholders and stuff.
Yeah.
So that is what I was thinking about. I hope that I made myself clear. Probably not, but yeah.
No, but I think I got your point. Oh yeah.
Basically, what I was trying to say is that I think they have followed this principle now, especially since they are under this foundation entity. I don't know what the right word is, but they have had a lot of time to create probably other sources, or I don't know, just their business more secretive. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I'm all out. I don't have nothing to add. I made my last unclear point, and I'm done.
No. It was good. It was good.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to another brand new episode of Philosophy Culture. We hope that you enjoyed this episode and that you learned some interesting stuff about Rolex. I certainly did. Damn, it was really interesting. And we hope that this information will help you on your watch journey and help you navigate life's spin.
Exactly. And leave a comment in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe and get updates, or to get updates about our channel, and to learn more.
So learn more. Yeah.
The
best thing ever.
Exactly. So
until next time.
Adios.
Boom.